Smarter Markets is back. We're live at the FIA's Boca 50, and we're joined by former Smarter Markets podcast guest, Travis Schwab, the CEO of Eventus.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us.
No, great to be here.
It's great to have you here. And, because this is the 50th anniversary of Boca, we're starting each of these conversations asking people how long they've been coming. Some it's many decades, some it's a couple years, some it's the first time. I'm curious, how long have you been coming to Boca?
I've literally been coming here for 50 years. I have... I started when I was 2 years old. No, I started probably late 90s, I think, I started coming to Boca, but not like consistently from then to now. So, at least 25 years I've been coming to Boca, coming here, every year. And it really is a singular conference, I think, from a key decision makers coming together, the type of networking that gets done, the speed dating meetings every 30 minutes, back to back to back is pretty unique. So it really is a must on every year.
And because you've been coming here since the 1990s, I have to ask, how has it evolved over time for you?
A lot less late nights, for instance. Back when in my younger days, probably out past 10. Now I try to get in before 10. I think the venue has changed a little bit, and it's kind of lost some of the intimacy that we had back in the days. It just, it just has gone through its metamorphosis over time, and it lost. There's a nostalgic thing that is lost there. That someone that's been coming here for so long. The size obviously has gotten quite a bit bigger compared to what it used to be, which is not bad. I think then you have that many more opportunities to meet folks. But by and large, I think you still have a very similar spirit and opportunity to really cover a lot of material in a very fast amount of time. My golf game hasn't improved over those last 25 years, unfortunately, but by and large, I still think there's a ton of value coming here, and I really enjoy it.
Terrific. And you're kind enough to sit down with us on day one, morning of the conference. So I'll ask you more about what you're looking forward to than what you've experienced. Yeah. Curious, are there any conversations you're looking forward to having with people this year, or things you want to hear?
Yeah, so conversation-wise, this is a great opportunity to take a temperature on where the market is, where we are viewing against our competitors. Obviously, we talk to our clients constantly, right? We have 120 clients globally. They're always giving us feedback, but this is all together. And so I think you have the opportunity for more substantive conversations that can dovetail nicely because you're hearing tidbits all over the place. And so I think that's really important for how we then kind of think about the year ahead. I mean, Boca really is kind of a temperature setter or tone setter for the remainder of the year. As far as things I kind of want to hear, we're in a unique spot, with the elections being there. You don't have commissioners and either of the big U.S. regulators. For us, regulatory clarity is really important to our business and our clients. And so I'm really excited to see, hopefully fairly quickly, in general, the environment, for instance, for cryptos is better, at least, at a high level. But we need some kind of substantive, kind of work to say, okay, what are the rules of the road, and some real clarity, because then that unleashes our clients to be innovative as well, like ABAX. And so I'm looking for that clarity, and hopefully we can get it fairly soon.
And curious, since we last talked on the podcast, what are you working on? What's the focus at Eventus right now?
For us, we always have kind of this three-part approach. Is one, what are our clients telling us based off what the regulators are telling them? And so we're always kind of doing that responsive. And that's really one of the reasons why you would go with Eventus, is you get that power of that community. And that community is across asset class, across the geography, across the globe. And so we're always just trying to tighten the loop between, someone saying, hey, it'd be great if the product did this, and we can put it into the product. And so that loop tightening has been a focus of ours. The second area is we've been really focused and made a ton of investments on our scaling capabilities. And so as exchanges, as the business continues to grow, as volatility has been around, you have volume records happening all over the place. That puts stress on the tech stack. And so anything we can do to really help alleviate those points of pressure, we've been doing. And so that's been an exciting effort for us. And we're getting to let's call it the end of the first set of innings on getting that out the door. And then the other area, like every other conversation in this room, is about AI. For us, we've been in that space. The product has supported machine learning for years. We've been using machine learning, but now we're going to take that next step and to provide a interface, a chat level interface to the product that gives deterministic results. And so we think that's pretty unique in the fact that, if you ask ChatGPT the same question 3 times, you could get a different answer every single time. That doesn't work in the compliance trade surveillance area. And so we really have changed that model to give a interface that allows for deterministic results every single time and allows for that data security. Your data the ABAX data cannot leave the confines of your environment and go to wherever for training. And so we make sure that the data is safe, it's security, you keep context, but then you have that deterministic response. And so we're super excited to have kind of the culmination of those kind of efforts happen this year.
That's great. And I wanted to ask you, we want to focus on the technology tools that the industry needs to improve. You're providing a number of those through Eventus. Are there tools, because all of us operate in this ecosystem, we're providing parts of the solution, but not all of the solution. Are there things that you need the rest of the ecosystem to be providing, or that you see the clients needing the rest of the ecosystem to provide?
Yeah, that's a great question. The 3 feedstocks that feed our platform are reference data, market data, and trade data, life cycle data. Those 3 areas are very challenging and very different types of vendors to work in. And I think, just even the cost of market data, like you think about all of the market data that we have to provide for all the products around the world. And if it's real time versus, 15 minutes or end of day, it's really challenging. And I would say it's not to take away an income source for the exchanges and everything else, because I understand obviously data is the gold of our industry, but ways to share data easier would be awesome. And I think would release a lot more innovation, because it's extremely costly to acquire all these data sets, name the types. Reference data alone is another area that just is very challenging to work in, that limits our ability to move faster. If there was a little more innovation, a little bit maybe innovation even in revenue agreements or sharing or consortiums to work together, it would be interesting to see. It's hard because everyone obviously has a business that they're building these things around, but I think you could unleash a lot more innovation if you allow for easier use of these data sets that power every app that we're working with. And so that, a little, I don't have a specific solution, but that would be nice to see a little some innovation there.
Right. And before I let you go, you mentioned AI. You mentioned you've been using machine learning for a long time. So I was curious if you have any advice from that experience for people who are new to the artificial intelligence space, just in terms of what they might reasonably expect or where it might work well.
Yeah, it's a great question.
What they're doing.
And that's, you have to start. We've been very deliberate on how we've rolled out these technologies, because we cannot put our clients in a bad position, and they have to have a perfect audit trail going backwards in time, and have to be able to answer very clearly why things happened within the platform. And if you apply or use AI where it shouldn't be used, or you don't give explainability, or you don't give the same result every time, you really put your clients in a bad spot. So we've been very deliberate on how we and looked at very specific use cases about how to apply these techs, because they don't apply to everything. And I think that would be my first set of guidance is don't start with AI, start with the business problem that you're trying to solve first, and then look at the best set of tools. Because if you need a specific result every single time, AI is not a good example to do that. Or, the way you have to shape it differently than a normal kind of probabilistic large language model. And so you think about the business problem that you're trying to solve first, and then you apply the right set of tech on top of that. So that's the first thing. Second thing, we've been doing AI experiments within our business now for a couple of years. And I think that's an easier way to kind of bleed with the technology and be willing to get cuts, is experiment with the business and say, okay, what are these use cases that we think these techs are really good for, and then try these kind of POCs all over the place. And so even if we're deliberate on the rolling it out in the product, we're pushing our business very aggressively using these type of techs, which I think is a nice opportunity to kind of, it's a safer environment to create that. So that would be the second area I would say, is create that safe space to we have an AI Slack channel. Everyone is contributing to that, as long as you're not putting the data at risk, which we talk about and educate. And that's the third piece of advice. Make sure you understand where your data is going and how it's being used, because that's critical. You can put yourself in a bad spot if you're sharing your own data, client data, and everything else. And so those would be kind of the three things to think about as you're putting these techs out.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Thanks for joining us, for coming off the floor. Really appreciate you. It's great to be able to catch up.
Pleasure.
Thanks so much, dude.
Thanks so much. Thanks.